You're listening to the Nerd to Know Media Network.
And we're live, guys, on a Nerd to Know basis here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. Starting 15 minutes late. Apologies, but you guys know the drill now. We never start on time.
We started talking conspiracy theories and time became this like bendy thing.
Exactly. Well, they're actually, the show that is about conspiracy theories took a break and it's going to come back soon. So it's going to be announced tomorrow.
Or is it?
I don't know. It might be. The guys are talking about it now. I'm doing this show, so I don't know.
You really like to keep them guessing, don't you?
Well, look, we said that we're going to talk about the Anunnaki and the giants and all that stuff. So that's what the topic's going to be, and that's going to be super fun because the Anunnaki are like really interesting and the Watchers. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah, but we did lots of radio this week already, Kane. I actually.
That's true. I think we're like on Emma Watson and The Last of Us 2's hit list by this point.
We can't talk about Emma Watson anymore because
what's happening with Emma Watson? What have you done?
We'll tell you, I haven't done anything, but we did learn something very interesting about Emma Watson, which we'll talk about off the air. We'll tell you. I don't think you want to know, Lisa, though. To be fair, because I find it very entertaining.
Okay.
Oh, Emma Watson.
Basically, we were doing a show with Dave, and we found out that he was like mutual friends with her via like 7 people or something like that, and we started poking him for information.
Yeah, with that, and poking being the correct verb to use there. Yeah. But we can't go into further because this is at 5 in the day on Phoenix FM. So use your imagination.
No, don't do that.
But guys, we have Katie isn't here, and either is Kev, so it's just the 4 of us. And yeah, if anyone's in the chat, they can let us know, and we'll read it out. And of course, it's on screen for anyone to chime in. This week, we are going to go back to Simpsons because we're on our part 3 of our season 6 review. And,
oh my God, we're on part 3.
Part 3, yeah. We haven't finished it yet. It's the longest review in history. So we are going.
It's over when it's over. Damn it!
I must have missed one somewhere.
So we are going to finish it.
I want to believe you this time, Dara. I really do.
Well, I'm going to avoid talking about Star Wars, and we'll be fine.
It's gonna be a 4-parter, guys. Just expect it to be a 4-parter.
But Lisa, we want to give you the floor first because we hyped up.
God.
Obviously you're not going to go into it that much because you said you wouldn't. But we have hyped it up to the good people. So explain this wish situation, if you would. Be so kind.
Long story short, it was the lockdown. Okay, I was panicking. Anime lockdown, that quarantine convention we all did coming up. I thought a microphone might be a nice thing to add.
Wait, you ordered this before the anime lockdown thing?
Yes.
What?
See, okay, well, I just want to stop you there, right? Ordering something from China is bad anyway, because it takes years to get here.
I ordered this on the Tuesday. Anime lockdown was like the Friday night.
See, you should have ordered on Amazon Prime because it would have arrived.
No, you see, the thing is I couldn't get anything from Amazon because no one would ship to us because this was the height of the lockdown. It's all different now.
And let's just say, for context, Tuesday in March.
Yeah, I completely panicked and I was like, okay. I ordered, it was when you just go through, it's like, when you're drunk in a bar and you've gone through all the good looking people and it's like 5 to 4 and they're about to kick you out and you just grab the first thing you see. That was basically it, well, for microphones, not people. And I was like, okay.
I've been that, yeah.
I was like, okay, I'll just get this shitty Wish podcasting set for like 30 quid.
Oh,
I'll do it. And I waited in every day for 2 months plus for it. And the first day I go back to work, I get a notification from Wish saying, "Yay, congratulations, your package was delivered." And I'm like, no, it wasn't. And then after a weekend of emailing 6 different people. And the thing is, it was a podcasting set, and all my emails to customer support were, "Hi, listen, my podcasting set, here's all the various codes." And one of the emails I got back was like, "We're so sorry, your aromatherapy oil set is delayed." And I'm like, oh no, this bodes so well. And then eventually a really nice guy from Wish called Raymond gave me an unpost tracking number, which was really, really random. And the thing said it was delivered, but it said it was delivered the day before at 6 in the afternoon when it literally wasn't because we were all here. like for the whole day, like no one was there. And then like I ring on post and they're like, no, he must have left it in the shop. And I'm like, what shop? He's like, your corner shop. And I'm like, we don't have a corner shop. What are you talking about? What shop? And apparently my postman who delivered it is now in Portugal on holiday for 2 weeks. And I said, I'm sorry, what? He's like, yeah, no, he's got like part residency in Portugal. And I'm like, Deco has residency in Portugal, okay? Seems to me. So yeah, my postman is in Portugal, and he is the only person who can answer what he did with my package.
So I have a theory, Lisa.
It was stolen, obviously, by a neighbor.
Yeah, he's podcasting in Portugal.
No, what's going to happen is eventually it's going to be delivered, but it's going to be delivered by Aston Kutcher, and you're going to be punked.
That's not helpful, Dara. That's not helpful.
It is plausible.
That's like that's like the longest, most overdrawn out punked prank I've ever heard.
Yeah, no, literally, like this
I
is
don't know,
excruciating, and it's just the fact the first day I got back to work after 2 months of waiting for it, and I'm like, oh my god!
If
and
they're
everybody,
like,
and do you know what's even worse? Anyone I tell this to, right? Sorry to cut across you, but anyone I tell this to, they're like, yes, this expensive audio recording equipment. Everybody's response is from Wish. And I'm like, yes, from Wish. Yes.
You see that's my response
I
too.
know,
I'm like it's Wish. It's like...
I know, that's everyone's response.
Okay, hold on. For example,
like,
right?
I know now.
For example, right? I ordered N95 masks before lockdown, right? So before, like, I was tracking the virus, which shall not be named, because we get demonetized again.
Again, wait, are we monetized?
Well, yeah,
since when?
They hit the videos every time, so you know. Anyway, so we can't name the virus, but I've been tracking it since January, right? So I said, right, I'll order some N95 masks. I ordered them in February. Immediately it was from Amazon, right? And got the notification. Cool, delivered. They weren't delivered, and then it said, oh no, it's not delivered. It's somewhere in Germany. So I'm like, okay, it's gone. And then I get my refund, the 90 euro refund or whatever. And I'm like, all right, cool. And then randomly, out of nowhere, 4 months later, they arrive. It's just what happens when you order stuff from China. It just doesn't arrive.
Dara, I liked your story, but Lisa had a bigger cast of characters.
Now, Lisa's one was unfortunate because it also involves Wish. My one is Amazon, so at least it gave me my money back and it arrived eventually. I'm like, cool. But Wish is just...
No, I will never get that 40 quid back. Like, I will never get my 40 quid back because they're like...
Forget the 40 quid, you'll never get the time.
Yeah.
No, that's it. That's what I'm thinking. That's why I'm like, small claims court, or just the fact that I have a microphone from a toy shop that is now equal to or possibly greater than what I was getting from Wish anyway. So
you see, that's the thing. You know, not a plug for microphones, but if you are going to get one, the one that Bryn is using and I'm using are Behringer C1 or C1Us. I think you're a C1U.
Yeah, C1.
And they're brilliant.
They're so good.
They're so good, and that's why I don't sound like I'm talking to a phone anymore.
Oh,
use your fancy tech. I've got a bloody gaming headset from a GameStop that doesn't exist anymore.
But you see, your microphone always sounds good. For some reason, this headset sounds like I'm talking to a phone, so I'm like, I can't do that anymore. You know, it's just look, the joys of audio technology, folks. It really is just an odyssey where you're like, it might work, it might not work, but you know, a big effing chat for
just
Lisa.
Don't order it from Wish.
Yeah, don't.
Yeah, that's the moral of the story.
Don't
Can I just say, if we ever get as big as like the Co-optional podcast, I really hope someone animates that story. That was well worth the wait.
Can I just say, if you know, don't buy anything from Wish unless Wish wants to sponsor us, and then buy everything from Wish.
Yeah.
We'll
or Brave, whatever Brave is.
Shop with them using Brave.
Exactly.
You know,
we'll even chill. What's it? Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah.
Discover Audible with a free audiobook on us.
So I've been using Squarespace to build a brand new website, and
it's called Gay from O Man.
Oh my god!
It's got a montage of me with different shaves that I got from Dollar Shave Club. So you know.
Take your pick, folks. Take your pick. Actually, hold on. One thing I do want to
all of the above sponsor us. We're monetized apparently, or at least not demonetized.
We're not demonetized.
We're not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
If we're demonetized and we're not monetized, do we owe them money? How does that work?
I don't know.
We're not the mob,
all I know
so-
Do
is
they take away our Wish microphones? Is that what happens?
well, what happens is, not to get too much into it, but if you mention certain words, you get put in limited state,
Yep.
which means no one can see your videos. So
Oh.
yeah. So yeah, YouTube is fun. That's why you got to dance around it, and that's why whenever you see videos, people are like, "The virus, the current health emergency." I'm like,
I
oh,
was
no.
wondering about that.
that's
Yeah.
why.
I thought it was just to avoid crazy stuff in the comments.
No. It's literally, if you say certain words, the bot will pick up the word, and then
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because we got hit by bots a few months ago.
algorithm.
Bots
Oh,
are
yeah.
stupid.
yeah, bots
Unless
are
they want to
stupid.
sponsor us.
Yeah.
I don't think bots can sponsor you.
You never know.
Actually, there's something I do want to
Isn't-
talk about. Sorry, bring one.
Isn't that just what Bitcoin is, though? Isn't that just bots sponsoring you?
Well, if you use the Brave browser, you get your own version of cryptocurrency. We're just using it. But there is one thing I want to talk about in all seriousness. So
Mm.
this whole situation has obviously put a damper on conventions and stuff like that, right? But some disturbing news came out this week. This is kind of Irish centric. So everyone knows that we have a good relationship with DCC, and apparently there was an online convention parading around as them. So they released.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Mm.
So I said we'd talk about that real quick, because like anyone who's listening to this, guys, if you see that, Dublin Comic Con aren't online. They're not doing an online convention. There are some online conventions that are probably going to happen.
Yeah, it's worth clarifying. They have made an official event for next March, I believe.
Yeah, it is.
I think
Like,
it's called
this
Part
one.
2 or something like that. But
Yeah, and they've
for the
got
most
their
part, they're not.
guests.
Yeah, for the most part, they are honoring the tickets you bought for the previous one if you had already, and bringing them over to the next one. So just be careful with like buying tickets. Sorry, that's Dara what you're basically saying, weren't you?
Yeah, no, that's basically it, because I saw that and I was like, oh, well, we should probably talk about that, because it is kind of like, you know, as I said, we do have a good relationship with Dublin Comic Con, obviously.
Yeah.
And when I saw that, I was like, wow, people are really exploiting this to make a book. Like, so just kind of, you know, use your discernment with things. You know, that's all I can say. Whenever you see random stuff online, don't just believe it, because you can't. Like, scams for the virus have gone through the roof now, apparently. With
What
frauds
do you
like
mean
that. So,
for the virus?
like, because of the virus, scams have gone through the roof. Where people
Oh,
are-
I see what you mean. Okay,
Like
yeah,
snake oil-
I've
snake
definitely
oil
noticed my junk
bulk
mail
cares and stuff
getting
for
bigger and
virus.
bigger. Like,
Yeah, that's basically why. Like, there's snake oil cures and tracing and all that kind of stuff. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
This supplement will cure coronavirus.
and
and only you have it. Yes, it's
exactly.
yeah. Actually, I want to get to an insidious one because usually I'm pretty good for checking them, but I had to get two people to double check this to be sure. It was a couple I got sent where it was your package has arrived and is waiting in thing.
No,
And click
scam.
link because I know it's a scam now, but like I think because people are ordering more because the shops are closed, that one kind of got out there and it went
Yeah.
straight to my direct messages. Like,
Yeah, well, see, there's a couple of ways you can do it. You know, banks and such are never going to email you. PayPal won't even email you that much. And places like that, unless you have something ordered or something like that, they're just not going to order you. You can actually check in the headers if it's a real thing, and you usually see, you know, what DHC or whatever it's called. It won't actually look anything like their actual website. So that's how you do it. But look, rule one, and take this to the bank: don't click random links in emails. That's it. Don't do it. Just don't do it. But
I'm gonna have a bad time. I'm Kai.
well, yeah, that's how your browser gets hijacked. But that's some piece of advice there. But here, what I'd like to say, I had a look at some other news there. I've been getting mad into Jurassic Park recently again, Jurassic Park series, and they now have a release date for 2021 of Jurassic Park 3 of the new trilogy.
Yes.
So that's gonna be fun. Have you guys seen?
Man.
Have you guys seen the short movie that came out?
No, what's this?
What is
Yeah,
this?
there's a short movie that's actually released. It's real, like it's actually legit. I'll post a link to it in the chat now. Because I say I leave a description and I don't. So I'm gonna actually pop that in the chat myself. And it's like 15 minutes. Hold on, let me pull it up now. Yeah, so it's called Battle at Big Rock, and it was released in 2019. It's directed by Colin Trevorrow, and it's basically a direct follow up to the events of Fallen Kingdom. So it's
Oh,
about,
Cool.
yeah. it's
Oh
really-
yeah, because that ended on a pretty good cliffhanger from what I remember.
yeah. All the dinosaurs loose in the city and the
Well,
world.
yeah.
Well, literally, that's what happened. No, sorry, it's not 50 minutes, 8 minutes, and it's
I'll be back in 8 minutes.
yeah, and that's it. You know, and you can watch it, but it starts off direct, and it's basically a family they're out camping, and they end up encountering the new reality of that there's dinosaurs walking around everywhere, and it's really good. It's very Lost Worldy. That's what.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sounds like the opening to The Lost World when it's the little
Yeah,
the
the tiny little raptors. Yeah.
But they're not raptors, the compies.
Yeah. But that whole new normal thing with the dinosaurs, that could also be a metaphor for what we're going through now. So pity we
Yeah.
got a virus and not dinosaurs. I would much prefer dinosaurs.
Well.
Really?
Oh well, I
well-
know the year's not over yet.
No, well, here's the thing.
Give it
They've
a month, yeah.
Well, they've actually. I'm gonna pop a link to that video. The thing, short film link. Okay. Yeah. So it's in the chat now if anyone wants to see it. Yeah. Look, they did say that. It's possible maybe 5 years to clone dinosaurs. And there was another crazy article that was like, yeah, it's possible or whatever. And then you're sitting there going, you know what? About 2 or 3 years ago, I would have been like, nah, that's crazy. But since we're living in a cyberpunk dystopia that is really boring, we're only one step away from dinosaurs like being real again,
Yeah. But
I
the
don't
thing is, though, it's like they're going to be dinosaurs, but they're going to do something to them to make them really like painfully docile.
really lame. Yeah,
Good.
that's
Like-
what it'd be.
It's like, look, it's a T-Rex, but we've genetically modified it, so it's
So it knits.
only half a foot tall.
The T-Rex that knits.
Yeah,
With its
half a foot
tiny
tall,
hands.
yeah.
Exactly, they modify its tiny hands.
It's just
so
a
it can make
T, it's
sweaters.
not a Rex, it's just
Yeah.
a T.
Exactly.
Yeah, but
Um,
they just make it so it's half a foot tall and capable of knitting, and that's and then that's all the fun of a T-Rex gone.
It's like
like-
going to be a PC T-Rex. It
Yeah.
can't roar, but it can be triggered.
Look, that's called The Land Before Time, and it's fine.
Yeah.
There's like 13 of those movies.
Actually, I haven't. What's it? What's her name again? Jenny Nicholson did a whole series on Lamp on Time. I haven't actually watched the whole lot yet because I keep forgetting it's a thing. But speaking of other cancellations that are coming up, San Diego Comic Con now is officially cancelled, so that's fun.
Oh,
So it looks like I don't think there's going to be any.
What did San Diego Comic Con do?
Well, this is before the wave of cancel culture, of course. But it looks like all conventions are going to be cancelled now for the foreseeable future. I don't know.
Except in the UK, because I checked, and like the Gallifrey 5 and Destination Star Trek, they're both still selling tickets.
That's irresponsible.
That's, I
That's
mean,
irresponsible.
I'm tempted is the bad thing.
no, Keane,
There's
don't do
a
it.
Doctor Who one on my 50th birthday, and all the people are gonna be there, and I want to be a robot.
But they won't. They're like, nope.
Well, you will
Oh.
be a robot when you're on a ventilator because you came back with the old cough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I
There
don't want to
you
be like
go.
one of those guys who, like, kind of accidentally reintroduced it to a country or something like that, I suppose.
Oh,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Britain.
You did-
It's really hard to talk about this without talking about this.
Yeah.
King, you don't want to have memes made out of you for being that
Yeah.
guy. That brings it back into the country. You know what I mean?
Like,
Keane
Keane, just think about
ruined
it. Just
everything.
Keane, think about it this way: we have not stopped making fun of a person who slipped over on ice nearly a decade ago.
Yeah.
don't
Imagine.
You don't want to follow in his
There's
footsteps.
a plaque. There's a plaque to that woman.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, it was a woman, was it?
No,
Or
it
it
was
was-
a
sorry,
Korean man. No,
sorry,
it was
the guy,
it was
the
like a
guy.
Chinese man.
I'm thinking
Yeah.
of someone else. I'm thinking
Yeah.
of someone else. I think a woman with the weather woman.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
dangerous
what's her name?
journeys. Yeah.
Yeah.
Theresa Mannion.
Theresa
No.
Mannion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just like, once we get our hooks into something, it just becomes comedy forever,
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. You don't want to follow
Okay,
those
all right.
footsteps.
I'll stay home. It's not worth becoming a Cyberman for.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
There is logic in what you say.
Hey!
Mm.
I was waiting ages for someone to say that.
Well, look, some sad news to bring this back down. Denny O'Neill died.
Oh no.
We didn't talk about it, and I forgot to bring it up. And I love Denny O'Neill. He was like one of the major voices behind DC and also Batman. So anyone who's a big DC fan and loves Batman around like 1970s, 1980s, They have read his work. I think he's responsible for actually the term MacGuffin. I think he came up with it.
Really?
Yeah, and he also wrote a book called How to Write Comics, which I have over here. And it's sad, you know. It's just like nobody. I know loads of people died in the past couple of months, but it's still sad.
Yeah, we had Ennio Morricone this week. We had
Yeah.
Ian Holm a few weeks ago.
Oh yeah.
Oh man, that was crazy. I'm just like, oh wow, like when you see those.
That one got to me. Because in college I modeled my acting approach on like the one he spoke about. So I'm like, oh no, really?
Yeah, I forgot what he was in because you associate him with Bilbo, you know.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you're like, actually, wait, he was in loads of things.
Oh
and
yeah,
then
he's
you
in
remember.
From Hell. He's Jack the Ripper, like that's how.
Oh yeah, like
that's
if
how
you
I
pick
first
up,
He's
seen
an
it.
alien,
Yeah.
you know.
He's in the Fifth Element.
And the Fifth Element, yeah. It's just like, wow, man, what a career,
Like,
though.
oh yeah, like if you pick up any play like from the 60s and you read the original cast, more than likely he's gonna be in it. He like worked with all the greats, like he was brilliant. Like,
And all you can say is one, like when you live to that age, it's an achievement and it's something to be celebrated. But when you have that career as well, it's like, well, what more can you ask for, really? Like,
Absolutely.
It's kind of sad to lose someone like that, you know.
yeah.
Daniel is the same. I think he was 85 when he died, so 81. So it's kind of like, well, man, you know, it's one of those careers. Bryn, I've noticed that you're playing Fallout New Vegas on
I am,
Steam.
Yeah.
How do you feel, or how do we
Currently?
all collect currently? Yeah, he was today. Because I've noticed on the Steams. Actually, quick plug for the Steam sale. The Steam sale at the moment. We'll talk about it in a second. But there is currently a Fallout TV series in the works at Amazon.
Oh,
how do we feel about that? Yeah, there is. Yeah, it's by the creators of Westworld.
Oh,
Okay.
That's interesting. Like, you know what? So, like, it really depends on the approach they take. I think something like Fallout is it has such a great. I think if they're going by the original two games and Fallout New Vegas, it's a great setting to work in. I don't include the Bethesda games in it because the people who made the Bethesda games don't understand the setting, so they don't get to have praise.
Yeah, Skyrim with nukes. That's all they want.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
But like the setting from the original creative team is such a brilliant bit of speculative fiction where, like, for people who've only probably just seen the merch for it or whatever, basically, like, the first Fallout game was made and released in the mid to late 90s.
96, 97.
Yeah. And they had they basically taken this idea of what it would be like to have a universe where the culture of American 1950s was basically what persisted all the way into the early 22nd century.
Yeah.
And then there was a nuclear holocaust.
Yeah.
So you're going around this nuclear wasteland in California where you're going around this nuclear wasteland in California where there's all these like things that allude to a 1950s-esque world where there's TVs, there's computers, there's all these things, but
it's 50s, it's retro.
So it's kind of like BioShock in that way. That sort of retro, futuristic kind of.
Yeah, but instead of the 20s, it's the 50s.
Yeah, so like you could throw in like the idea of like something like BioShock or even like the 90s Batman series where it's very Art Deco but very modern simultaneously.
Yeah.
The same kind of idea where it's like 50s futurism and it's like the setting's brilliant. And I don't know if they should follow the games or if they should just try to do something very, very different. I'd be very open to either of those things happening. I think sticking with the game, some of it could be difficult to adapt into something that would be a compelling narrative because a lot of it's just like, well, your character goes here. Why does the character go here?
Well, I mean, The Witcher stuck the landing.
But The Witcher
Which
also
has a main character, and
but
it's also the games are based on books.
Yeah, The Witcher also based itself much more off of the books than it did off the game, which is worth pointing out. Whereas like Fallout, it's like doing an adaptation of Dungeons and Dragons. You know, like there's no main character.
It's glorious.
It's glorious. Yeah, it is.
You know, that's.
But there's one thing I want to tell you, because they said there is a there was a lot of Pokemon news as well that I want to talk about because
Oh, you made her cry.
I know.
Yeah.
I have to mention it, but before, like, the thing about it is, well, on this thing, what I would say would be a good idea to do, Bryn, on that would be, the way each fault was supposed to be an experiment.
Yep.
Just do that. Follow that around. That'd probably be your way around.
As in, like, have it be like an ensemble cast thing set in the vault.
Kind of like American Horror Story set in vaults.
You know what? Yeah, like with the Westworld guys, that might be the best idea to do it, so that it's like kind of like an anthology series as different vaults.
It's probably the best way to do it. There's no other way.
Yeah.
There is the Steam sale. I'll get back to that. But Lisa, listen, I want to give you the floor here. A lot of Pokemon stuff. A lot of Pokemon. What is going on? Because listen, as I said, I was a fan, still am a fan, but it's hard to keep up.
Yeah.
So you're a resident Pokemon expert. So what's going on with Pokemon?
Well, there was kind of a lot happening in June. So we got because obviously November there was the Pokemon Sword and Shield for Nintendo Switch which was released, and it was based in the Galar region, which is based in England. But everybody was really annoyed because the game was really crap and it didn't really have anything in it, which was really shit considering it was the Nintendo Switch. And when you think of what we had in the 90s on like a tiny little Nintendo cartridge, and what we have now on the Switch, which is nothing. And then it turned out that if you wanted the second half of the game, you had to buy a DLC, and then you have to buy another DLC in November. So you have to buy two
because if you're
DLCs.
getting Sword and Shield, you're already getting 2 games, aren't you?
Well, no, if you buy either Sword or you buy Shield, and within that, if you want to play the rest of the game, you have to download the other half of it. And then the other half, and now there's talk of a third one. So everyone's a bit like, why couldn't they just make the game? Why did they only make like part of a game? And they'd be like, no, it's fine. Like, because there's always these jokes about like Game Freak like rushing games for Christmas. So because they've got like a kind of a production schedule that they like seem to have to adhere to, that they have to have a new game every year, which is great, but also people are really complaining about the quality. So basically people are like, why is there only like part of a game? But even playing it, it was like, this is ridiculous. Like, it was literally like walking around like this movie set. It's like, this is the worst game ever. And then the DLC.
Sorry to cut across, but isn't this the same game? Isn't this the same game that like it's the first time where they've reduced they've had to remove
Yeah,
Just
they got rid of all the
attractions,
Pokemon, and then they put them back in because people complained so much. And then
why did they remove Pokemon? Like, they removed people's favorites for no rhyme or reason. It was just like, oh, gone now.
I honestly, I don't know. That no one seems to know, and that's what kind of sparked the whole hashtag Game Freak Light thing. But then there was like the download came out in June, and everybody was really happy about it. And the same day that there was the download, there was a Pokemon Direct, which is like Nintendo Direct, but like for Pokemon, and everyone was like, "Oh, this is amazing, great!"
Oh, you mentioned this on the Game Corner. Plug the Game Corner. That they were like kind of stealing off trading and battling behind a sort of paywall, weren't they?
Oh, well, that's kind of something different. That's Nintendo in general, but like this was really annoying because this was gas because they were like, they only ever do like Pokemon Directs when they're going to do like a brand new game, and everyone was really excited. So everyone's like, great, new DLC out today, let's watch the Pokemon Direct. And then they start off the Pokemon Direct with a fucking app for Pokemon Smile. It's an app to help toddlers learn to brush their teeth.
You know what this seems like?
I want to check that out.
This seems like this. There was a press conference with the developers of Diablo a couple of years ago, and everyone got upset because it wasn't a PC, and they're like, "Does everyone not have phones?" Because it was a mobile.
I remember that.
Oh well, this gets worse. This is like between this and Wish, like a 2020 is the worst year ever.
Yeah, actually, Lisa, I really feel for you because every time there's a Pokemon announcement, I know you really want is it Diamond and Pearl to be next generated?
Anything.
So
anything.
I get nervous on your behalf because something's going to come out, and I'm like, oh no, what is this? Oh god!
Listen, right. So after the
not another app, yar, be posting for hours.
After the app announcement, Pokemon Smile to help little babies brush their teeth, they were like, oh, we're gonna do this like fun, free to start, really babyish Pokemon Cafe Mix little download thing. So you download the game for free on the Switch, and then you pay to continue playing.
Oh
And it
god.
looks appalling. It's really bad, but it's for kids. And I'm like, you know what? If this is what gets them in, that's fine. And
Right.
then
Yeah, but gets them into paywalls.
oh yeah, no, the fact that everything kind of Pokemon related has been
Mm.
behind a paywall lately is really bad. But
Mm.
then the good news, the news that got everybody back in for 1 week, Pokemon Snap.
Yes, Pokemon
Yeah.
Snap.
Big
Ooh,
news.
I haven't
So-
heard this.
So basically, for Nintendo 64 now, because I was like 8 years old when Nintendo 64 was out, so I couldn't buy one. I could now, but you know, I'm gonna wait till
I wouldn't.
Pokemon.
Don't. You know what you do?
Okay.
You know what you do? You get an Xbox, you get an original Xbox, and you send it to me. That's what you do. Because N64 sucks. I won over there.
Everyone
It's
listening
terrible.
at home, send them to Dara.
Do
Just
Yeah.
send all your
do. I'll
send
im-
one
I'll-
Xbox to Dara, dude.
It won't end up in Portugal.
Yeah.
I swear I'll invite you. But
He'll,
Yeah, no, but like
what he's going to do is he's going to use his academic knowledge
exactly.
to
Theoretical academic knowledge.
Yeah.
Theoretical methods to
yeah.
somehow.
Little known fact, Pokemon Snap is actually installed on all Xboxes. You just need to dismantle the firewalls.
yeah, so
Yeah.
everyone was like, but the thing is, the whole point of this is right. So game like loads of people really wanted a Pokemon Snap remake, but that never ever happened. That was never even a possibility. It was one of those things where fans, like hardcore fans from the 90s, wanted this so badly, but no one ever expected it to be a thing. So the fact that suddenly Game Freak out of nowhere, like, by the way, here's a piece of your beautiful childhood back, and everyone's like like I had people crying in my group, like in my Pokemon Fan Club Ireland group. They were like, oh my god, I'm crying at the news, this is so amazing. And I'm like, yeah, okay, great. I'm screaming for no reason, I just want to belong. And then and then at the end of the announcement, everyone's like, oh my god, wow, Pokemon Snap. Then they're like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm, Ishihara Tsunekaze from Nintendo. We're doing another even bigger Pokemon Direct next Wednesday, same time. And everyone's like freaking out because everyone's like, why are they doing 2? They'd only be doing 2 if they were doing something like really big. So everyone, like, literally, it was a toss up between either the Gen 4 remakes at last, which is, Diamond, Pearl, or Platinum, or maybe Pokemon Let's Go for Johto, and everyone was like,
I want that.
Umbreon Eevee, or the way it was like Let's Go Pikachu Eevee, this is like Let's Go Umbreon Espeon, which would have been absolutely gorgeous. So everyone's like placing bets, like I'm talking like proper bets in the group, and you know what we got? Like it was the Pokemon Direct was literally announced. So not only on the day that I first went back to work did I miss the postman or whatever, or the postman never arrived from which, I also got the Pokemon Direct news. So that was a great day back to work after like 3 months.
Oh Lord.
And I'm in work and I don't have my phone on me, and I'm there wondering, am I coming out of work into a world where I'm going to be going to Johto, or am I going to be going to Sinnoh? I'm so excited, this is so amazing, hey! And I get out of the shop and I take out my phone and there's just a text from my friend and he's just like, don't watch the Direct. And I'm like, what do you mean don't watch the Direct? He's like, please don't watch the Direct. And I'm like, okay. And then I try to find like on, I'm like, okay, I go into the group and there's just an explosion of hatred. I can't even find, I actually went to the official Pokemon page first to see if I could find what the game announcement was. It wasn't even up on the Pokemon page. It's so bad. It's this thing called Pokemon Unite. It's basically Pokemon League of Legends. It's a mobile app.
Oh God.
I got an ad for that on YouTube.
See,
Yeah.
And then what happens is Aston Kutcher shows up and he's
Yeah.
like,
And the cage comes down.
The
Yeah,
cage
so
of
literally-
Japanese fighting Eevees.
Yeah, but literally everyone was it was literally like someone actually posted in the Pokemon group, Pokemon Fan Club Ireland, they posted, the picture Krusty the Clown's like, what the hell was that?
yeah.
Literally, because literally now out of all the things, it's like, Mr. Plow, the Mr. Plow ad, but the really fancy one.
Yeah.
That's the issue. It was like,
Was that Pokemon Direct? I don't know.
But see,
That's basically it.
But see, that's
So
just
no one knows it, so they lost. All the fans they magically regained in the space of one Direct of Pokemon Snap, they lost for life. They've nearly lost to me. It's so funny.
But that's what Star Wars did, and now they're talking about rebooting the whole thing.
Yes.
So
That's because
that's
Dara,
what
I'm glad you
happens.
brought that up because her
What
story
happened?
reminded me of how, like,
38 minutes, everybody. 38 minutes to go on to
Look,
Star Wars.
Yeah,
that's what
okay. And
happens.
also, 38
No.
minutes. Just throw Simpsons season 6 to
No,
the
no,
wind.
no, no.
It's
We
not
are going to
happening
get
this
there.
week.
We are going to get there. But what I'm saying to you is, like, Lisa, I do totally empathize. But what I can say is,
Oh, it's a universal disappointment, I'm sure, across
it is
many
no,
fandoms.
it's what happens. Eventually, they just lose complete touch of why their fans like it,
Yeah.
and then they pump out absolute garbage. It was like, what the hell?
This is why things need to end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So,
true. That's actually
like,
true. That's true.
This
Because
is why things need to end, because
here-
once things go on past the second decade, there's only sadness for you.
Well, come here, listen.
Well, you had to say that while I was drinking out of my Jodie Whittaker Doctor Who mug, didn't you?
Well, look, come here. There is something very entertaining to lift everyone's spirits before we go into Simpsons.
It ain't
So-
happening there.
So hold on. If I was to say there was a book. Okay, there was a movie released, right? Steven Spielberg movie that didn't need a sequel. I'll give you a hint. It's based on a book that didn't need a sequel. Guess what's getting a sequel, guys?
The Cimmerillion? No.
Steven Spielberg.
No.
Steven Spielberg
Oh,
movie.
sorry, yeah.
Stephen. Ooh. EC2.
That would make
Jaws
more
2?
sense.
Oh no, that's already.
Because the
Ready?
actor is still around.
Ready Player One is getting a sequel.
That was only my
Called
second
Ready
guess.
Player Two.
Ew.
Why? Why does that need a sequel? I thought they said everything they needed to say in the first book and movie, which is the book is kind of creepy when you read it, and the author is kind of creepy. But it's like the movie wasn't bad; it just didn't say much. I don't even know what this is going to be about. Like I thought they closed up all the loops, right?
But they
This
didn't make
literally
enough
just
money.
Well,
though. That's the
to be
problem.
fair, since Ready Player One came out, we have entered a world where we are stuck in our homes playing video games. So
Yeah, well, look,
there could be more to mine. Like,
Well, to be fair, I think that is actually. I watched a really good video yesterday. That was actually talking about this. It's I will link it now in a second. But it was all about the move towards that kind of gaming because there is like a couple of companies that are trying to set up like an online media platform, like a almost like I don't know if you guys played it, Second Life, like Second Life. But
oh,
gaming.
that takes me back.
And that's kind of what apparently this move towards this new world of gaming they are trying to do. But the movie wasn't that like it wasn't bad. It just wasn't good. It's tearing down another house of lies, the Valor scam by Upper Epsilon Gaming. I'm gonna leave a link to it below. And he talks about one of the big companies that's actually running this kind of thing at the moment. Now they're organizing it through Discord, and it's all of a mess. But yeah, because look, Ready Player One, did it need a sequel? Did you like the movie? Did you like the book? Lisa, you're shaking your head. Go for it.
Oh no, I don't want to get into it.
Oh no, dude, content. Go for it.
Oh,
No,
come
no.
Dude,
on.
you have to.
No.
You can't just.
No, my lips are sealed.
Oh, fair.
Okay. From what I remember of it, I liked it sort of academically, but didn't enjoy it in the kind of kiddie woo type way because it was interesting to see Spielberg essentially make a film about kids who've watched his films and sort of engage them that way. I like that meta aspect to it, but there was the stank of BFG on it. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like I can't feel Spielberg's influence on it anymore. If you know what I mean?
I can. It's very Spielberg. Like I read the book first, and I was like, okay, the book's all right. Then I kind of, there's a lot of a lot of problematic stuff, and I know it's me using that word, but there's a lot of problematic stuff in that book. And Ernest Cline is a bit of a weird dude, anyway. But for what he was trying to do, it made sense. And the movie, I thought, was a much better improvement of it, as far as like it took away a lot of the women are bad and I'm which is in the book for some reason. You're like, dude, calm down.
I haven't read the book.
Oh,
is
man.
it that bad?
It kind of, yeah. It's like it has all the problems that what's that horrible show called? Big Bang Theory. It has all the problems that are in
That's
Big
sort
Bang
of
Theory.
stereotype. Not to tangent away, but I've introduced Stevie to Spaced as like the counterpoint
Space is so
to
good.
Big Bang
Spaced
Theory,
is so
and it's
good.
really interesting how, like, in that, because they're nerds, the entire world looks different, whereas in the Big Bang Theory, they
Yeah, you
quote
look different.
things. It's completely. It's anyway. Sorry, go on.
You see, that's kind of the major problem with the book. Like, it's it's fundamentally the same thing, but it doesn't have like the good natured spirit in it. It's more kind of like hateful, you know. It's like it's almost like a scree against what he didn't like, and that you need to know what he likes in order.
Oh
to
man,
worthy.
yells a cloud.
Yeah, no, it's more like gatekeeping. It's like, oh, you need to know the Shining Off, or you need to know War Games. And to be fair, the War Games segment in the book is actually awesome. There's some really cool bits in the book that aren't in the movie, but I did not think, particularly in an age of cancel culture, that this would get a sequel. Honestly, I'm shocked. Shocked.
I think one of the things that I felt about the film, because again, having not read the book, the thing I really didn't like about the film was that like it just seems to have such an ego about itself.
That's the book too.
Like like the way I put it is like the book really wants you to think that it's better than Wreck-It Ralph, and it's just not. Like,
but Wreck-It Ralph has a story to tell. This doesn't.
Yeah,
This is just about.
Yeah, like I think, but this is going like, but look, we're doing gaming and pop culture references, aren't we great? And you go like, yeah, Wreck-It Ralph
So
had
does
those
Family
things and had a story. So what are you doing that's so damn special? It goes, but look at this thing that we do. It goes, but
Look,
I
it's
do-
special. Like it's.
I do want to give Spielberg like props for still making, you know, good to great movies this far way in. Like for comparison, George Lucas started afterwards and kind of burned out much quicker. Like,
Yeah,
I would disagree.
yeah,
Yeah, George Lucas never done anything wrong. Even Red Tail.
considering that like George Lucas didn't even direct the best Star Wars film, I think that's, you know,
He directed Episode 3, which is close. So
but he didn't direct Empire, so
still close.
you know.
Anyway, we're not getting into
like-
Star Wars. You're breaking the rules,
oh
Brent.
yeah,
You're breaking the
we're
rules.
Asian, yeah.
You broke the
You're
rule at
breaking the
38 minutes, Darren. We're through the looking glass.
So
now,
look, I do want to go into Simpsons real quick. But while we're here's the sum up for it, right? The summation that someone said. It's I can't remember who it was, but Ready Player One is a movie and book that reminds you of better movies and books.
Yep,
that's kind of the truth.
Yeah.
But right.
Yeah, I think there is something to be found in the way Ready Player One represents people who sort of digest media and make it a part of themselves. But I'm not sure if the film goes into that aspect enough, if you know what I mean, and the book
just,
by the end of it.
I will have to say I enjoyed watching it. And I saw it in the cinema in an IMAX, and I'm like, this is actually a beautiful film to see in an IMAX. And
I imagine it would have the Avatar type experience, you know, where.
But once you see it in the cinema, that's it, you know. But look, a book that didn't need a sequel, movie that doesn't need a sequel, getting a sequel. That's the world we're in. Weird.
Yep.
Okay, let's get into it. Season 6 of The Simpsons.
Right.
Bryn, how many minutes in are we?
That's 47 minutes.
We're still getting to it. Right. So
Where did you guys leave off?
So we left off.
Right.
At Treehouse of Horror.
5. Yeah.
5. So the batch we're going to take here is going to be another parter. I just know it is.
Oh, can we not just like bite the bullet and just give every episode 3-word reviews or something like that?
Right, let's do it. Okay, so round table, guys. Bart's Girlfriend. Starting with Bryn.
Oh, Bart's Girlfriend is a classic. It's great.
Yeah.
I always forget who it is who plays
Meryl Streep.
Oh yeah.
But
Meryl Streep on helium, or Meryl Streep is as good as everyone claims to be, because I don't know how she does that voice.
Yeah,
Bart.
so good. I love when she finally breaks at the end of the episode. She goes like, "I was expelled, Dad." Like,
With the pipe
so
bomb.
great. Yeah,
The bra.
so good.
It's a classic cry for attention.
Bringing in the sheep. Bringing in the sheep.
A favorite moment of this episode is when Bart, you left. You were happy. I was happy. The hamster was happy. The hamster's like just hiding in the corner. Brilliant.
So great.
Okay, so Keen, Lisa, anything you want to add on to that?
Yeah, no, I. So you go first, Lisa.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I love when Bart struts after Sunday school. You know,
Single biggest contributor. This episode alone has like the biggest contribution to Simpsons Wave, I think. I'm using clips from this specific episode. So
It's this and Mother Simpson have the
yes,
biggest contribution to Simpson Wave.
yeah.
I didn't know Simpson Wave was a thing.
Keen, you are
Keen.
in for a treat,
Yes.
guys. Link in the description here, or link on the screen now if you're following.
Get the
I'm getting
Spotify
homework
playlist
on
going.
this.
Simpsons Wave is amazing. It's super good. Great series on YouTube called This Exists, and it goes into stuff that exists and Simpsons Wave.
Yeah.
Fairly big remit.
No, it's more like into the obscure, weird, wonderful things that exist in the world.
Yeah.
And Simpsons Wave, he started off with Vaporwave, which then has a subgenre of it called Simpsons Wave.
Oh wait, I remember the Super Eye Patch. Is this like remixes of songs and stuff to it? Like
Look,
kind of.
cheap
There's not
plug,
enough time
guys.
to cover it here, so
There's not. Cheap plug. Go on Spotify, 32X. My Vaporwave album is there.
Yeah.
but yeah, before we move on, I love the bit where her and Bart skate down the perfectly vertical hill.
yeah.
Yes.
Past the glue, past that, past
God.
everything. I don't know why people don't remember that as well as Homer doing going down the gorge. I think it's hilarious.
I love the
Brilliant.
bit at the end where he's covered in glue and just starts
The
blowing
bubbles.
bubbles out of the glue.
Oh, there goes the glue after all.
Oh.
Right. Next one, Lisa on Ice. This one I love. This one is fantastic.
It's so great.
Quite a big hockey fan myself. But this just is great. This sums up, if you have siblings, this sums up sibling rivalry perfectly. Particularly the bit I'm going to kick air.
I'm going to swing my arms like this.
Yeah.
You get hit.
To get caught.
It's your own fault.
Oh, I've done that thing so many times where Homer bangs into the metal thing, eating the pot. I've done that so many times at home.
Yeah.
It's so good. It is just like the perfect summation of having a brother or sister and
Yeah.
just growing up with them. Particularly, at the end, it has a really nice moment where they realize that they fight, but they
The montage,
Oh,
of
no,
memories.
stop.
And then it's
Beatles.
encapsulated with probably the best moment with Snake at the end, where he's like, "These kids are so sweet." I had PE hockey when I was a lad.
And then they smash the place.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that, the irony.
Oh, and Krusty failing at the national anthem. I love that.
I should have used the cue cards.
Yeah. It's
Oh man.
yeah, I love that episode to bits. I also love the notion that as far as presidential nominees go, if they get one F, they get sent to a monster peninsula. Wouldn't
Yeah.
that be a lovely world?
Well, it's
I
not.
think you
It's
find
not a
it's called
peninsula.
Monster Island.
Monster Island, yeah. It's technically a peninsula. Right. Homer Badman, which is strangely the most topical Simpsons episode still, 30 years later.
Yeah.
Literally,
Stay
this
back,
could have been,
Mr. Simpson, stay back.
this could have been written this could be about now. Your tears say more than facts ever.
In
In
real
Homer's
life,
ever
yeah,
could have
it was
been.
very unsettling watching.
It's like,
This is
wow.
before social media, but that
Yeah.
idea of just sort of mob rule deciding
No,
whether
I
you're
don't-
a good person or a bad person and how you
But
existed in
You're also
society and all
forgetting
that.
the greatness that was Bear the interviewer.
no, Ben.
Gentle Ben.
No,
Gentle
Ben.
Ben.
No.
Oh, I thought that was a real thing.
Yeah,
I
Gentleman
think
was a
it is.
thing.
Gentle
Yeah,
Ben is a thing, yeah.
That's a thing.
I feel like I've seen it referenced in other things.
Yeah, probably, because it's a thing.
There's one part that I love that's really it sums up the amazing wittiness of this area of Simpsons. They have an ignition coordinator, and it's just there's an ignition coordinator on the lawn. It's perfect. This could have been this could be 2020 internet culture.
Yeah. I
Literally.
mean, it speaks to how good the episode is that it opens with that candy convention thing, and it's brilliant. And that's the thing people remember least about this
it.
episode.
What's it?
like-
See you in hell, Candy Boys.
Candy Boys.
I don't
And
think you can talk.
Sorry, you go first, Lisa. Sorry.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say I don't think you can talk about this episode without talking about sexual powers.
Or-
Sleeping in an oxygen tank.
That's only part
Part
two.
true. Also, Under the Sea is in this.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. There will be no
Oh,
allegations.
Accusations, just friendly crustaceans under the sea.
Oh,
wants
and
to be under
and
the sea.
you got to mention the rock bottom review though, or like
Yes.
with the clock hands going
Rowdy
back and
Roddy
forth.
The
Keeper.
sweet can.
Sweet
Sweet
can.
cat, sweet, sweet cat. Stay
But
back, Mr. Simpson. Stay
Don't
back.
take your anger out on me, Mr. Simpson. No.
But again, guys.
Silence only incriminates you further.
But again, this could be 2020, the world we're living in. Literally, you watch
Yeah,
things taken out of
between-
context. You know, it's unbelievable.
Between that and the Sideshow Bob episode, also in season, it's really eerie.
Yeah, it's just
Yeah.
like they saw it coming. You know,
But
it's just
it's also like that. Like Willie manages to help clear Homer's name, and then they immediately turn on Willie. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rowdy Roddy Peeper.
But every single Scottish person does it.
So look, I have to say, right. So I'm resetting the bar here, guys. This is peak Simpsons. This is like it's
Yeah.
probably the best episode. If I
Yeah.
had to show anyone an episode of Simpsons, it would be Homer Badman.
oh, it's still Cape Fear.
Oh.
This is better than Cape Fear, but not by much. Not by much. It's for different things. The social aspect of it and how it just captures media, mass hysteria, group mentality, and then just the jokes alone. Like it has Under the Sea, for Christ's sake. Like it's been brilliant.
Yeah, but Cape Fear has not the elephants.
Yeah, but to be fair, if you hadn't seen Cape Fear is
Yeah.
only funny within the context of having seen Cape Fear.
Exactly. Like
Oh,
Yeah.
I've never
As
seen
a
Cape Fear. and I
standalone.
love that film.
you've
I
never
love
seen
that
Cape
episode.
Fear?
No, I haven't.
Oh, dude, Cape
I haven't
Fear is
seen
great.
it.
It's a good show. It's a good movie. It really is.
Yeah, I'm sure it is a good movie, but like I don't need. I know from watching clips of it, I don't need to see it now. So,
Fair enough.
Fair. Okay, so the next three are all Homer, like really Homer centric, but more in a different way, right? So first is Grandpa versus Sexual Inadequacy, which is it is pretty funny, but not.
Is this The Simpson and someone? I must say I'm a complete normie who doesn't know the names of these episodes.
Yeah,
I just watch them on Sky One.
so this is where they come up with the aphrodisiac.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The
And
unsanitary conditions in Grandpa Simpson's bathtub.
exactly.
Oh, this is
There's
one of my
also-
favorite jokes, which is
Yes.
Yeah.
Through the
the
looking
vice
glass.
The
president
getaway
get-
music.
No, although that's great too. When Lisa buys the book and Al Gore has like celebration queued up to play when someone buys it.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I
This calls for a celebration.
well, this just shows you how good this season is, guys, because we all have different favorite parts of this episode, and they're
that's
all
true.
equally as good. So that's Keen's one. Lisa, your one was
What?
what one were you going?
Oh, the getaway
Oh,
music
the
when they're
getaway
driving out
music
of town.
when they're driving out of town and they're like, they only started chasing us when he started playing that getaway music. And then he stops playing the getaway music
And he just
and they
stopped.
all stop disappointedly, like it's gas.
Mine is we're through the looking glass, people.
So
Oh,
mine,
yes.
mine, is
Oh,
mine is slightly different. I just love that whole sequence where it's like laying out the whole
Yeah, the
conspiracy
saucer
theory.
people.
Where it's like the saucer people with the reverse vampires.
Vampires, thanks, Lisa.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. It's so
We're
good.
through the looking glass here, people.
Yeah.
And the way he
like,
says
it's
it's just so earnest. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh,
Fantastic.
like it's just the way that whole thing is laid out is just like top tier. It's so great.
So
Yeah,
even-
and can I just say, as a parent, I love the line where he's like, Homer is like overcompensating with Bart and Lisa. And like, I think it's Lisa says, don't get us wrong, but we much appreciated your half-assed under-parenting of your half-assed over-parenting. But I'm using my whole ass.
So, again, like we have a really strong one. Then we have one that's followed that's not as good. It's the fear of flying kind of stuff that goes in. You get some
Oh
back-
no, I like that one.
I do like it, but it's weaker. It's weaker.
In the scheme of the season,
Yeah.
it's one of the weaker episodes. It's still got some really good moments.
Oh, but like you've got the sequence of Homer trying to find a new bar with like
Yeah.
the full cast of Cheers, and you've got like Marge in therapy, like going through all of her traumatic memories, and like there's or like watching Alive. Like there's loads of just sequences that just flow
it
in
also-
that.
it
Pass
also has
me
one-
another hunk of co-pilot.
It has one of my.
It's raining men. Not no more. It ain't.
And then throws it to Smithers. He's like, "Oh, that's brilliant."
It has one of my favorite, like,
Yeah.
it has one of my favorite, like, over-the-top dramatic Homer moments in the entire show, where he's like, "You've been speaking ill of me to your therapist, again. Haven't you? Haven't you?"
I love.
Or Homer at the window cleaning.
But see, the reason why I say it's weak, it's because it's followed up by Homer the Great, which is Stonecutters.
Oh,
it's so great.
This used to be my favorite episode
And
when I
it's
was
like,
a kid. Yeah,
that's the problem. And then it's followed up by And Maggie Makes Free and Bart's Comet. So Maggie Makes Free is a weak one. Bart's Comet is fantastic. But the hits.
Oh no! Why are you always going after like the kid flashbacks ones? You were down on the one about Lisa being born too.
Yeah, Maggie Makes 3 is great. Don't forget.
Oh, don't do it for her. I've got that as like my screensaver now on a tough day at work. Like,
oh no.
No, it's not that I'm down on it. It's just that the flashback ones kind of don't gel anymore because of how long the series has gone on. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance there where I'm like, wait, Maggie was supposed to be born in like, how was Maggie still a baby in 2020? And, you know,
but you'll get that from other episodes as well. Like, you know, in the Sideshow Bob one, Lisa said in 1990 he was framed for this and all this kind of stuff. Like, so that's not specific to the fact. Although I love the gag where Patty and Selma like rang up Arison and Zukowski.
Yes. Fantastic.
Just thought you'd like to know, Mr. Zukowski.
But the way they cut it is so good because you think they've got the whole phone book.
Yeah, no, it's great. And also, did you shine your head in the Shino
Bolo?
Yeah. Actually, I want to say this on a like Skype quiz the other day. We were like, "What is the sport of kings?" And thanks to this episode, we got that right. It's like if horse racing is a sport of kings, then bowling is a very good sport too.
Right, guys. What here we're gonna do? We're gonna bite the bullet. We're gonna finish this on a little bit of overtime. We have to take a break on Phoenix FM. Well, not take a break. We have to take a break for Phoenix FM. So we'll be back next week here on Phoenix 92.5 FM. We're going to take a quick break on the stream, and we'll come right back to it. Guys, if you're listening to this on Phoenix FM, go over to nerdtoknowmedia, like right now, and catch the rest of the show. We'll be back after this very short break, guys.
Bye!
And we're back here.
You've been listening to the Overrun again, haven't you? Haven't you?
We're here on the Overrun for anyone who's catching us on the stream, on Spotify, all that good stuff on YouTube as well. Thanks for joining us. So let's continue. So Bart's Comet, right? One of my favorite episodes again. I think it's great. It's the whole setup with, you know, the opening plot of Bart and the balloon finding the comet, where him and Skinner are sitting there and they're like trying to figure out, and he finds it, and it's brilliant. I love it. It's great. There's so much in this. It's just a densely compact little episode that has a real big emotional punch at the end with the, you know, they all realize that they love Flanders and they want to die in his town. So it's nice. It's nice, but I think the ending of this lets down a little bit, but it's still a really good episode.
Well, it's still,
like the ending.
So do I.
I like the ending.
So do I. But it's, you know, it does you're expecting a bigger payoff.
Yeah.
It's not, you know. But they do.
But it's still, you're right. It's a heartwarming ending, and I love how much Moe's bar suffers.
Oh God, no!
I love Reverend Lovejoy running through the streets, going, "It's all over, people. We don't have a prayer."
It's just brilliant.
Homie the Clown is next.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a great one. Clown College.
Clown College.
Yeah, very funny.
You people held me back long enough. I'm going to Clown College. I don't think anyone expected him to say that.
Yeah.
My favorite bit is where he just keeps seeing clowns everywhere as the guys like rolling around the floor and work.
In fire, like.
Actually, what I do love is the fact that there's a really good reference to Close Encounters of the Third Kind with the mashed potatoes.
When he's making the thing,
yeah.
It's super good. I think this is like a really strong one. It also has the bit where he beats the crap out of the Hamburglar.
Yeah.
Stop! He's already dead.
Yeah, this is ripe for like meme fodder. This one very easily.
Yeah.
Art versus Australia, a really good one, like classic.
This is actually, I'm really glad this has come up because like the Simpsons Go to Other Countries gets progressively more offensive. But I cannot hate the Australia one. I love it too much. It just makes me laugh too much.
The thing about it is, I think the difference is there was no mean spirit here.
Yeah.
Right? This was just Australia, but with the volume turned up, right?
This is also very clearly like, this is not meant to be an actual An actual representation
like
of Australia. They're
yeah,
not calling. They don't mention anywhere where they are.
No,
Like-
it's just
like
Australia.
the statue of the convicts is literally Snake, like, you know.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I mean. It's like it's Australia with the volume turned way up, right? So
Yeah.
it's just what everyone thinks. Compared to when they go to Ireland, it's just stereotypes that
Yeah.
are
Oh yeah, and like, or when they go to Brazil and like, there's
Oh,
so many rats that they're all painted. Like that's
Yeah.
really bad.
I wanna-
taste, like, you know.
But like everyone there is a character as well. And remember, there's a lot of analogs here as well, because this was just after that huge infatuation with like Australia stuff with the crocodile
Yeah.
hunter and all that kind of stuff. So there was lots of like cultural shorthand again put in here. But it
Yeah,
was
and you
used in a
see
good
like
way.
the Mad Max guys running in the Stampede. Like, I absolutely love the sequence where he like runs to his member of parliament and then they run to the prime minister. Like, you
Prime
could
Minister,
like,
Andy.
exactly, like, there's
Mr.
a
Prime
reason.
Minister.
Andy, like, there's a reason. The episode, like, the Rock Bottom group on Facebook. I know you're not on Facebook, Bryn, but they love those two original Australian
do.
characters. They make memes of them
Yeah.
all the time. So
Bias.
obviously, it's transcended in
Bias.
some way.
No, the best
One of my
line is
Bias, yeah.
best line is it's like there's nothing wrong with the bidet, is there? It's just like
One of my favorite
fantastic.
one of my favorite bits that I just love hearing in this episode. It's not so much of a joke. It's just like Bart and Lisa running past the shop that has Marge and Lisa go, Marge, Lisa.
Or Homer crying at the toilet going the other way.
Oh, it's so good. But again, like, you know, I think this is a Simpsons travel episode that is warranted.
Mm.
You know, there's a reason for them to go there. It's not just we have to go somewhere. You know, it's
Yeah.
like it makes sense.
Yeah.
They
It's
use
also
everything.
like it's also like one of those things where like there's just something really funny about the idea of like it's such a minor thing to make an international incident over.
Yeah.
But it's such a Bart thing to do.
That's true.
Yeah. And it's actually worth mentioning that the episode puts up front just how little Bart and Homer know about the world at large, like him not knowing Uruguay and all that kind of stuff. So if you were to kind of take
Oh my
offense
God,
at anything relative to
montage.
Australia, it's
Oh, King gone.
I think it might be gone.
that the Americans are kind of in the wrong in this episode.
I
Yeah.
totally forgot about
Bouching comes along, obviously.
I totally forgot about the montage. Where
I don't remember the montage.
the montage is where
He
Bart
rings
rings
up
everyone.
Hitler.
He rings
Yeah.
up Hitler.
Yeah.
Ever Manut.
That's so funny.
Down in Argentina.
Oh, the
Stupid
guy
phone.
on like the roof of the house.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Or like there's some sort of General Kroll type, and he's like, "The tide is turning. I must flee."
I love when he rings Antarctica.
And he says,
Oh,
checks it
that's
with
a
the pen.
grown-up joke I didn't get as a kid.
Brilliant.
What's the grown-up joke?
Oh, he rings up Antarctica to ask which way the water is flowing in the toilet, and he goes to check, and the water's frozen. And then a guy
Yeah.
walks in behind him with like a magazine with a woman on it, and he goes, "Ah, nuts."
Okay.
Right, so Homer versus Patty and Selma. I'm gonna skip that one because it's extremely weak.
Oh no, that's got a few good moments in it there. Don't like.
It does, but the next one is A Star Is Burns.
Which one is that?
Is that the
that's-
film
that's
festival
the
one?
film
I've
festival.
lost the link.
Film festival.
Oh,
Film
yeah.
festival.
Don't push your luck. Don't push your luck.
It's literally Bryn's background.
It is.
Man getting hit by football. That's like, remember, look, anyone I skip over, it's because the next episode is so good.
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
I feel like I have the right to keep those episodes in my back pocket for if we ever get to like series 13 and we just need to pick me up.
Absolutely.
this is also the first crossover, and I didn't get it as a kid that it's a crossover. Despite the fact that they lampshade it so much. How lame crossovers are.
I have no cultural reference for this particular character, unfortunately.
He's part of a show called The Critic, which was around at the same time, where basically the gimmick was he would just review movies in really satirical ways, but then also would kind of like, what's the best way to say, Brandon? It's like a parody of a critic.
Yeah, I've
So,
seen
well,
the
like,
clip, the Jurassic Park clip, where
Yeah.
the Velociraptor starts talking.
The general thing is that's just kind of like your standard animated sitcom. It's just that it happens to be a film critic.
Yeah.
But the writers are like the writing team is pretty much the same as the Simpsons writing team, and like the humor in it is very, very sharp.
Yeah.
It has like it's one of those shows where like it really just like does this brilliant job of like setting up jokes that you just do not see coming.
No, it's very
It's disarmingly funny is the way I describe it.
and it's not too long either. It's like
There's
I
only-
think there's only one
Mm, mm.
season. I think
There's only 2 seasons.
2 seasons.
And like the side character, the secondary characters are great. Like he's got like a ridiculously handsome Australian best friend actor, that like he keeps trying to get like relationship advice off of that doesn't work for him because he's just not at all like him.
No.
And like, you know, his family, like his parents are like kind of like a wealthy blue blood family, and they're so damn funny. Yeah, like I can't recommend The Critic highly enough because it's one of the best animated sitcoms I've ever seen.
Does he belch like Eudora Welty in The Critic?
I can't remember if that happens in the show, but I'm sure he does. So
What I would say is there is this is the first episode that the guy who made The Simpsons, what's his name? Matt Groening.
Matt Groening?
Matt Groening actually took his name off it. He was that
Really?
excited. Yeah. There's a good chapter in Planet Simpsons, which is the book I can't reach. That's all about it. And yeah, Planet Simpsons is a really good book, but it goes into detail about the trouble that this caused. This nearly ended The Simpsons at one point. So,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Really? How come?
Yeah. Oh, well, dude, it's a podcast in and of itself. We might get into it at some point, but
Okay.
But basically, he was completely against this crossover or crossovers in general, and yeah, there was just like that's why his name isn't on it. It's the only Simpsons where his name is on it. So now you know.
Wow.
Lisa's Wedding is next.
Oh wow,
It's
this is
really,
one of my all-time favorites.
it's really good. It's
Hold
like-
on, are we really going to skip over Pocahontas?
Don't cry for
And it
me.
burns for all seasons?
I didn't want to skip over, but then we'll never get it finished. That's the thing.
Never
Okay,
ever
okay,
again.
okay. I got yeah.
It's like A Star Is Burns is. I want that movie, and Pocahontas. is
It
fantastic.
exists. Your man from like Riverdance essentially made it.
Oh.
Michael Flatley.
Yeah.
I'm not even following that up.
Mm.
Not even
I'll
following-
send you a link,
No.
so
whether
So-
you like it or not.
So the next three are Lisa's Wedding, 201 Greyhounds, and the PTA disbands. So again, 3 very strong episodes. The best one is probably Lisa's Wedding, I would say.
Oh yeah, I think that I'd put that in my top 10, like overall, not just
purely,
in the season.
Purely
Like
for the song, though, I do love 2001 Greyhounds.
Song, yeah,
Be
it's
my
my best.
Like,
These gophers, former gophers. It was that skin my chauffeur.
I also love the bit where Homer's like, "Oh, who knows what diabolical scheme Mr. Birds will come up to steal those puppies?"
And he's just taking
them.
them.
Like,
No, I really good part.
64 slices of American cheese. Isn't that this
Oh,
one as
it's in that one
well?
too. See,
Yeah.
that's the thing about the way.
no, that's in the one with the teddy bear.
Bobo?
Teddy bear,
Oh,
Bobo.
Okay,
Yeah,
fair
yeah,
enough, fair enough.
We do have the excellent moments where the dogs keep eating Homer's crisps,
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
and B, something that my dog and Prim do, where it's like the dog gets up on the TV in The Simpsons and they're like, "Oh, isn't that cute?" And the cat's up, like, "Get that cat out of the way."
I just know I love the bit where they all just stare back and they're all just staring hatefully at
Yeah, the
cat.
slow turn.
The next one that PTA fans, right? It is a funny episode. It has one bit that's hilarious that just cracks me up every time, right? Actually, 2 bits. One where your man jumps out the window. The PTA is Hispanic. The other one is the teacher's about to crack Purple Monkey dishwasher. Bro, we'll get him. Respect for that Purple Monkey dishwasher remark. It's like it's just brilliant, fantastic. But not a strong episode really compared to the other ones. But
But you've got your second Jimmy Stewart cameo there.
Yeah,
It's in Bill's house, and Fred's house.
What's my money doing in your house, Bill?
Yeah, I can't. I love that film. I cannot get that Simpsons out of my head now. Whenever that scene comes up, and it's a real shame.
So here's one for you, right? The next 4 episodes: Around Springfield, The Springfield Connection, Lemon of Troy, and Who Shot Mr. Burns Part 1. Now, here's the thing.
Oh, before we go on, can I say one of my favorite Simpsons lines of all time is in the PTA one?
Yes, go for it.
And I just love it because it works out of context, which is, Lisa, in this house we obey the laws of thermodynamics.
But here's the reason why I bring up Brown Springfield, for no other reason, right? I forget this episode exists. Reason why. If someone were to say that theoretically, for educational purposes, how I watch The Simpsons is on a hard drive connected to my PS3, just saying, potentially that's the way.
That's incredibly specific.
That's the way one could watch The Simpsons. Despite the fact having them on DVD, it's just handier to watch them that way and they're unedited. But for some reason, this episode is corrupted. So if one was to watch The Simpsons that way, they would always forget that exists because they never watch it. So in this sense, I, being this test subject, would forget that this episode exists.
And if one were a dope who didn't know what the Simpsons episodes were called, which one is Round Springfield?
This is the one where Lisa, Bart is rushed to hospital for, I think he eats
He basically gets appendicitis.
Oh, it's the Bleeding Gums Murphy, the ultimate pog, that one.
So
Okay.
this one completely, I always totally just, it's not a thing for me. Which sucks because it actually is a really good episode.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember reading a book called The Philosophy of the Simpsons that tried to make a case for this episode being the worst one, and I was like, you have no idea what's coming.
Just wait until that manatee one in season 17.
Oh no, the manatees.
Okay, the Lady Gaga one though.
No, that's a great one. I love that one.
I don't know what to say.
I love it.
This is just
Great.
depending on all
Do
of
you
them.
feel you used to be the controversial one, like in series 30, and now you're outdone?
Season 30's good. Honestly, season 30
That's what someone in work said. They actually really liked the new. And then they were like, "Oh, I was laughing for ages last night," and I'm like, "Okay, what was funny?" And they're like, "Oh, I don't know." It's like, okay, well, that's fine.
Yeah, well, no, as I said,
well.
you sit there and just, Clockwork Orange, watch them all like I did over Christmas, and you realize where the dark points are. And by season 30, you're like, it's watchable again. I'm not in horrific pain. And you're not screaming, it's a sin, it's a sin. Matt Groening just made Simpsons.
Can I be a Disney shill for a moment? I watched the Maggie shorts on Disney Plus. They're actually pretty good.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're little kind of like the Pixar shorts you see before film. They're just no dialogue, just like kind of not sure what the comedy term for it is, but all kind of physical humor and sort of sight gags and stuff. And it doesn't outstay its welcome. It got 4 good laughs out of me, and it held the baby's attention. I gave it 11 out of 10.
All right, I have to watch those. So look, Round Springfield Connection is one where Marge becomes a cop.
So great.
It's brilliant. It's
so
good.
great.
Yeah.
You missed the baby,
Sell
you
the
missed the
jeans and
blind
live like a
man.
queen.
The counterfeit jeans operation. It's like, what do you call it? I call it, Mr. Frenchman Garage. What do you call it? I call it car hole. Excellent. Excellent. So good.
Yeah.
So good. Lemon of Troy next. This one is fantastic.
This has my all-time favorite bit of animation in all of the show, where the counterpart to Homer goes, "Now, all the talk has made me hungry," bites into the lemon, and then that transition from him eating it to the sourness overcoming him is just the best that show has ever done.
So,
it's just brilliant.
Brandon, it also has the scene that you like to reference a lot with me. This is what it feels like when doves cry whenever someone brings up their love of TNA or Star Wars, and then
or Triple H,
and then you tag me in it on Twitter. So at me on Twitter. Anytime it's brilliant. It's usually that scene from Triple H.
Yeah. But it's just so accurate though. Like it's the best Millhouse line ever. So this is what it's like when doves cry.
I love the pairing of Nelson and Martin. I've really come around to liking Martin as a character on the rewatch.
I'd love that as a spin-off. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Or like a series of shorts.
With that theme song.
Nelson, the friend you loved so dear.
They will be the best of friends for years and years and years.
I looked so it's like, I don't really like hanging out with them. Oh god! Oh, the fire hydrants are yellow, and like a Frink on his hover bike and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Wait
I
a
love
second.
as well,
There's a lemon behind that rock.
Yeah. I love as well, like the guys are like, oh, we're on the Springfield border, and when we step into the Shelbyville border, we will be men, and it's this big, huge deal. But then the girls are just running back and forward with their
Flying the
kite, just
kite.
like
Yeah.
totally relaxed about it. Like,
I was
so
watching
funny.
it. I was watching a video not too long ago actually about this episode, and they were saying like it's so interesting how like that all the men seem to have this like this idea of this like long-standing hatred and rivalry with Shelbyville, and it goes between both towns. Whereas like the women seem to have no qualms about
Yeah,
it whatsoever.
yeah.
Sure,
Like,
we learned that.
Oh yeah, Millhouse's mom was from
Yeah.
Shelbyville.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like she has no problem being in Springfield, but
Yeah.
you know it tears Kirk up inside.
And like the guys at the gas station, it's like, oh, they're from Springfield, isn't their kids? That's why we beat them at football nearly half the time.
Yeah.
It's a
nearly
great
half
line.
the time.
But the series rounds out, which was a huge deal. Like
Mm.
we can't even place ourselves there because, you know, even though we were alive, we weren't really, you know,
We
aware.
weren't living.
I mean, yeah, and we weren't American, and we're not Americans. So in America, it was a big thing. Who shot Mr. Burns? Part 1. This was a real mystery, and apparently someone actually figured it out, and you know, it actually, you know, there's a whole big story behind it. But
There was the clue with Mr. Burns like wanting to take candy from a baby, like, you know, that kind of stuff.
Mm.
It was
Well,
very
yeah.
it was
Well,
very
I hate
well
this
hidden though.
episode.
well, one thing we did learn
What?
Yeah, I hate this episode. It's like my least favorite episode ever. It's like I don't like this
All
episode.
right, time on this episode. We're going.
Do you like the follow up though, Lisa?
No,
But it has all the Twin Peaks references.
I don't watch Twin Peaks.
Oh, whoa, that's surprising. You need to watch Twin
Hey,
Peaks.
all the weird horror stuff
exactly.
you watched
You-
and you
you
haven't
don't
seen
watch
Twin
Twin
Peaks?
Well, you
Oh,
seriously
indeed, the clues.
seriously need to get on that. You'll love Twin Peaks.
No, I'm really
Twin Peaks is so
interested.
good.
Why? What is it? That's a very definite statement, Lisa. What is it that puts you off about this two-parter?
Well, the fact that it's a two-parter, I think the fact that it's
Fair.
just not very interesting because I don't care about Mr. Burns. Well, no, I like Mr. Burns. I just don't think it was a good episode.
See-
There was nothing about it. It was just Mr. Burns blocking out the sun, and then he gets shot, and I'm like, I don't really care. Like,
See-
I didn't care about him blocking out the sun to begin with. It
You
just
didn't even
wasn't
care
very
about Dr.
funny.
Colossus?
See, that's it. Dr. Colossus. He was a rank amateur next to Dr. Colossus, and for that saves the whole episode for me. I agree. I'm not a huge fan of this one. I like the next one because I love Twin Peaks, but that line alone is just spectacular.
I think there's some I think this episode has like some top tier Mr. Burns moments in it, like
Yeah.
where he's dismissed Smithers and he's there to go like he starts stomping all over his giant model set of the town. He's like,
Yeah.
Take
take
this,
that
nuclear power.
elementary school, take that Quickie Mart, take that nuclear power plant. Oh,
Yeah, it's funny actually. I was because I was working in my stockroom. I re-listened to some of our earlier Simpsons wrap-ups to kind of prep for this, and Kev mentioned back in way in episode 2 that they overused Mr. Burns because he was, in very strict sense, the villain of the show back then, and
yeah.
this feels like his peak.
yeah.
And in a weird
Yeah.
way, I don't think I would have missed him if he stayed dead.
Yeah.
Because I think this is peak Burns.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously there's some good ones like the one where him and Homer get stuck on the mountain. But as far
Yeah.
as an antagonist, this is
Yeah.
where he peaks.
Well, see, this
Yeah.
is like where they went so hard making him a supervillain, basically, which they did.
Mm.
He only kind of falls down from it. So you know,
Yeah.
I understand. What I will say is, as the season ender, it probably shouldn't have been, but I understand why he did it. It's a weak
Yeah.
ending, but you know, it does have that line with Dr. Colossus. Kills me every time I see it. So I can't hate it, but I do understand where Lisa's coming from. I 100% do. What I will say, Lisa, if you take nothing away from this, you gotta watch Twin Peaks because you'll love it.
Yeah.
Fair
It's
enough.
like, you know, it's just one of those things. And then
They
This
reference it
suit
again later on
burns
when Homer's
better.
watching it, and there's
They
a
do.
guy dancing with a
With a
unicorn.
unicorn, he's
Unicorn.
like, I have no
No
idea.
idea
what's
what-
going
And
then it's
on."
like, yeah.
That's the show. Yeah. There's
Pretty-
a log lady.
And then there's a log lady, and
Yeah.
you know, we can't even that's a podcast in and of itself. But
Yeah.
look, it is what it is, guys. So look, we have done 16 minutes of overtime. Fair play, good job, everybody.
Yeah.
I did not think we were going to get that done. But wrapping up here, rating for season 6. Personally, before you guys go on this is the best season of The Simpsons for me. If season 7, it varies between this and season 7 because season 7 is so good, but it's very. It took us 3 attempts to get through it all. That's what it is. So it's just like if it's not season 6, it's definitely season 7. What do you guys think? It's a 10 for me. Has to be. Bryn, you sound like you disagree, so jump in there.
I'm to be honest, I'm just trying to think of where I place it because I think I gave season 5 a 9.5, and I don't think it's a 10, but I definitely think it's better than season 5.
So 9.7 or something.
I'm gonna have to go for like 9.75 just to kind of
that's fair.
Because like again, there's like there are a couple of weak episodes in there that just drop it down a little bit. But yeah, 9.75.
Okay. Lisa?
7.
Controversial.
That's me being nice.
See, and people say I'm the controversial one on this show. It's unbelievable.
No, I just think that like the weak episodes are so weak in comparison to the good episodes that it just overall, like there's some of the best episodes of the entire franchise in this season.
Yeah.
So, but as a whole, collectively, as an entire season, I don't think every episode is as strong as the other, or there's sandwiched between some really weak ones.
Yeah,
so,
but
yeah,
do you not think that there are episodes in this season that, even though they're the weakest episodes in this season, they're better than some of the stronger episodes from previous seasons?
I think that's because I think that's kind of a relative thing, like kind of like a personal taste thing. I just don't. Yeah, I think the flat episodes in this are just dull. I think rather than bad. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
See, like there are, and we brought that up, but it's just the episodes here, like this has defining Simpson episodes in it. That's why it goes so like. It's not my favorite because it's my favorite. It's just because it is just so definitive. Like season 7 actually has the Radioactive Man episode, which is probably my favorite episode of the whole lot. Particularly when you've been an extra and you know how real that is, and that gets quoted all the time. But yeah, look, it's just I understand like the weak episodes are there, but it's so much stronger than season 5. And it like we're reaching that point now. It's like this one, season 7, maybe season 8, and then we start seeing the drop. So I don't know.
Yeah, I think
most
of the Futurama writers defect season 9.
Yeah. So Kane, where would you drop? Would you go with Lisa on 7, or would you go higher than that?
See, this is interesting. I was going to give it a 9, but I noticed in this episode and the last one we did, however many weeks ago that was, every time you reasonably chipped in that you didn't like an episode, I got personally offended, which is not something I usually do.
Right.
So based on that gut instinct, I think this one's a 10 for me. Next season may be better. Watching it in order, I did enjoy the next season more, but that's because I was expecting the drop-off.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if that's a rational conclusion. For now, this is my favorite series of them so far.
From looking at it, I can see that there is going to be some debates on when we do kind of wrap this off. And I don't know, obviously with the lockdown being lifted, we have less time. We will probably scatter this out more where we do bits and pieces. But guys, we did a fair play, and look, this it's a lot of fun to do this because eventually it's going to become a bit of a slog, but it definitely has helped, and I appreciate the different opinions on it.
It's going to get to the point though eventually where we'll do a season review. It's going to be, so what was your favorite episode?
Exactly, yeah.
And
then it's sad, and then we stop doing it, and then we skip to season 30 where it gets good again. But guys, yeah, look, before we get out of here, we have a lot to plug. So let's start with you, Lisa. What do you have to plug this week?
Episode 12 of Straight Outta Canto is now live on all the Nerd to Know Media podcast platforms. Straight Outta Canto is your podcast for anything kind of J-horror, K-horror, nerdy, weird, kind of left to center side of nerdy fandoms. So yeah, Straight Outta Canto.
By the way,
you've got that down to a T.
Since we're on the overrun and we're not on Phoenix now, you did have the best line. I know because I edit all the shows or I listen back to all the shows. I had the best line and he had the best delivery. And I just start crying laughing because it was so funny. So
And it's just because it was with the sad music and it was so angry and then just out of nowhere.
I just wasn't expecting it. I was just like,
know.
wait, what did you say? Let's go back. So yeah.
I haven't had a chance to listen to this yet. What?
So
Yeah,
funny.
it's a feature length podcast. It's 80 minutes. I was really.
I'm in it and I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm not going to ruin the surprise because I
Oh,
want people to
yeah.
go over listen to it. So
Okay,
go
okay.
over and check out, and it's how Lisa signs off is the funniest thing I've heard in a very long time. So fair play, you caught me completely off guard. It was a really good show this week, though. I really enjoyed it. So
Thank you so much. Yeah. It was good because I just thought I wanted to just make some kind of acknowledgement of the huge amount of time that I spent over lockdown just watching movies, and I'm like, other people might like these movies too.
What I will say is though, some really good recommendations there. So definitely do check it out. And I now have a list of movies to watch. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Keane, what would you like to plug, sir?
Oh my goodness, so much. There's no game corner this week, but as it would happen, I am on Lisa's show, which apparently has a very funny ending. We discuss one of the most traumatizing manga there is, and I highly recommend you check it out. I'm also on Kev's anime book club, which went out on Monday. So that we get into lesbian dragon maids, a lot to discuss there. And I suppose we also, you, me, Dara, we did a little episode sort of spontaneously on Tuesday. I'm guessing that's going to go up sometime in the next week or two. And
I
on a personal...
was going to put it up on Friday.
Oh, there you go then. And on a personal note, if anyone has seen Lisa's Wish microphone, please get in touch.
Text Wish
it needs
to 5555 to donate.
Yes,
Happy
yes,
dude.
to Happy Dude.
happy Lisa. 555.
You have the power.
But not the microphone.
No. Well, it's just, if anyone has seen it, we'll put up some posters maybe and try to find it that way.
We'll get a milk carton released with the photo of what it is.
Oh, and just before Bryn does the recommendation, I just want to say that in regards to that Pokemon app, Prim was able to brush her teeth first time without Pikachu showing her.
Wow.
Yay!
So there you go.
Well done, Prim.
Can't go
Well
wrong there.
done.
Well done, Prim. Well done. Bryn, what would you like to plug, sir?
I will just plug my Twitter again, Casper and Cast. I am currently working on getting some bits and pieces done for pre-production on my own show, which is Tech Takedown, because there's just a lot more work on it than I anticipated in pre-production. So yay!
Yeah.
And you'll be happy to know that this week's segment of How Did We Do on the Show Plan, we exceeded expectations because we only had 2 things on the show plan. So go us.
Yay!
Go us.
Bravo.
So-
You, the people out there, you're the stars.
You're the star.
Cool.
But guys, thank you very much for joining us. Again, we're live every Wednesday at 9, well, in and around 9 p.m. And of course, we're on Phoenix 92.5 FM every Saturday at 5 p.m. But the best way to reach out is here on YouTube at nerdtoknowmedia, nerdtoknowmedia.com, where all everything is there. And of course, download the Brave Browser. Buy my album, which is out. It's over on Horrendous Bandcamp. Horrenda, that's Horenda. It's called The Aldous. Buy it, please. And that'd be great. And download the Brave Browser. And if anyone wants to sponsor us, let us know, because we will shill anything. So, yeah. Of course. But, guys, we will talk to you next week here on Phoenix 92.5 FM, Nerd to Know Media. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Join us at nerdtoknowmedia.com.